Hello and welcome to Black Hair in the Big Leagues. I'm your host, Salisha Thomas. And you guys, we got a superstar. We got a superstar on today. All right, listen up. She made her Broadway debut way back when in Hair on Broadway. She was OBC, come on through, for Leap of Faith, Big Fish. She toured with Rent, and she's always just done leading. She's just always been a leading woman. Okay, most recently, Casual, starring as Eliza in Hamilton on Broadway right before the shutdown. And she's also starred in multiple off Broadway productions. She's appeared on television. All right, she also has voiced a cartoon character called Natasha in She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. And she was just recently in a Hallmark Christmas movie at a time, folks, when we needed Christmas movies more than ever, starring other Broadway stars like Aaron Tveit and Laura Osnes, called One Royal Holiday. But what I'm most excited about is, y'all, before I moved to New York City, right before I had come out here to visit the city, and I was seeing a bunch of Broadway shows, and my friend Deshaun Young was in Motown on Broadway, and I went to see him, and I was just I was so in awe of the entire production and everyone who was a part of it. But the Diana Ross who was playing that night was just so sparkly and beautiful and flawless and honestly perfect. And I'm so excited because she's my guest today. You guys, put your hands together for Krystal Joy Brown. Welcome.
No, you
See?
can't start it off like that where I'm already like, I'm like, wait, was it me?
Yes. Yes. Yes, mama. It was you.
Oh my God. No, that's really beautiful. Thank you. I mean, especially in a time when we can't do our craft, it's like it's so easy to feel devalued or like what you do isn't essential work, right? Like, and all of these different things. So hearing that I impacted you in any way or anyone in any way is like it gives me life. It gives me like motivation. So that's huge. And thank you for saying that. And I'm glad that you got to experience, like, love Deshaun. He's like one of the kindest, warmest
Yes.
human beings.
Yes, he is.
So, we were really blessed with, I mean, that show was the Black show of the time, like
Right.
there's always one or maybe two if we're lucky.
Right.
And so that was kind of that moment. And it was just so amazing to be playing a Black superstar, like to be playing and to watch all of my friends playing Black superstars.
Right.
It was just a different vibe, like we get saddled with so many frustrating stories a lot of times. And so
Yeah.
just to see like Black excellence on display
Honey.
was just like, for me, because like, sorry to jump, but like
No.
doing that show, like, it was funny because being in the Broadway industry for a while, I had heard such bad reviews. The reviews were bad, all of this stuff. And so I was like, oh, I guess it's not that great of a show. And then I went, and I saw the show and I was just blown away. I was blown away and I was like, oh, it was because he wasn't allowed to, like, or he didn't allow like regular Broadway standards. Like he didn't, do all of these things that are normal for the Broadway producers. So people kind of shut him out and
Very,
decided to, yeah,
very
Barry
good.
Gordy. Yeah, Barry Gordy. So people kind of shut him out and downplayed the show, and it was incredible.
No, it
And
was incredible.
yeah, I don't think it got like the press and the reviews that it deserved. But I'm proud. I'm just so proud of that one. That's one thing that I'm always like. I love Eliza, obviously, and we'll go into that, I'm sure. But like,
Right.
my full-fledged Black pride was sitting watching the show and then taking on the role and then watching every person come in and be excellent. I mean, that show, everyone that Hamilton had or has like came from Motown, and I think we needed
Dang.
that. Yeah. I mean, look,
Interesting.
yeah, really. A lot of the people that have replaced have been like Motown, you know, um, and I think that we needed that to like gain that like confidence and star power in order to go into something so complicated.
And that's something that I want to ask you about. I wasn't going to jump into this right away, but like a lot of, I mean, but I've seen like your resume, you're doing lead characters like out the gate. You started with the national tour of Rent as Mimi, right?
Yeah, I was 19 and I was touring. Yeah, that was my I Rent was the musical that got me into musical theater, and I went to school. I graduated early. I did
From
school in New
where?
York. I went to AMDA in New York.
Okay.
So I'm originally from Virginia, and then I went to high school in LA, and then I was like, I'm going to do college in New York. And at the time, you can still do the school really quick. But I did conservatory, and I did it for a year and a half. You could do it in 2 years, but I was like, I'll just go through the summer. I just wanted to live.
Work.
Um, yeah,
Work.
and I started college when I was like 16, so I was doing college and high school at the same time. So I kind of
I'm
had.
sorry. I'm sorry. Who are you? What? What do you mean you were doing college and high school at the same time? How does that even cross your brain? Like, this is something that I'm going to do. Like,
Yeah, well, honestly, it was because I came from Fairfax County schools in Virginia, which are some of the best in the country and the nation. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, like they just didn't have the curriculum. Like they just didn't have what I had already been doing. So they were like, "Well, we can put you in the Jumpstart program at GCC, which is Glendale Community College." So I just was like, "All right." So I started going to college instead. Yeah.
wow. Okay. So when you were in college or even in high school, did you where did this confidence come from to play lead after lead, name after name? Has that always been a part of you? Have
Oh
you
my
always
God.
been confident, Krystal?
No. No, confidence is like a muscle that like really gets weak easily. You have to
Yes.
constantly be working on it.
Right.
And I think it's I yeah, I think especially like when you're young, I had this like blind confidence. I was like, once I realized that it was just human beings like being cartoon characters or human beings on TV, because I really separated myself from watching things. I was like, oh, that's a whole other like class of beast. Like that's a whole other creature. Those magnificent
I mean,
beings are
honestly,
other
that's
creatures.
what I thought when I watched you, Krystal.
Oh, well, thank you. But you're not any different from me. And all I do is like honestly what I think I do is I try to tap into my humanness as best as possible, which then like fuels me in a weird way. Like
Ooh.
I feel like I feel the collective consciousness of our audience, and I get fed from that. And sometimes like, being an empath, can actually hurt you, because if you're like, oh, all these people are tired, hungry because it's been raining or they've been standing, you're like, oh, now I
Yes.
don't want to take that on, so I have to like create my own energy. Um
Wow.
but I also like I love storytelling. I think that that's the number one thing that I've become, is a storyteller. Like I look at work, and I look at it from the perspective of a writer, as a director, like the why. I really, if like you named all of the stuff that I've been in, and most of it is historical.
Right.
Most of it is based in fact, because I love history. I love the human condition and like our psychology, right? Like I tell any of my students, or whenever I like get to speak to schools and stuff, like this is the study of psychology. It's the study of human behavior. This is what we're doing, is we're trying to figure out why these people do what they did, right? Even if you're like playing a serial killer, right? You're like, what is the machinations of like my mind that are moving to do that? And it's all within us, it's all part of the human experience. So I always love studying like human behavior and psychology, and I think it's like that's interesting to bring even into an audition. Like why like any acting coach would be like, well, why are you doing this? What happened before? What's motivating all this stuff? It's like, yeah. So I really like to play in my imagination. Like I think that that's, you know like Nixon said, fake it till you make it, right? Like that is actually a Nixon quote. But it's true.
Did not know that that came from him.
Yeah, but everyone said that's why I cite it, and I'm like, just let's remember who these some of these things come from. But that's definitely, yeah. But it is like you do kind of have to fake it. I mean, even when I first started, this guy in my acting class who was a lot older than me and helped me find my first agent manager was like, yeah, you got to lie on your resume. You got to say that you've done some productions. And I was like,
What?
what? Yeah. Yeah. So I had a whole bunch of things on my resume that were not like a ton, but like 5 things, just so it seemed like I had done something somewhere where, yeah,
Did you ever what would you do
I
if like
totally lied.
if anybody cuz I've been stopped like, "Salisha, wait, can you explain this on your resume?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh."
Oh yeah, I mean, like they were like smaller things. They were like, oh, Glendale, da da da, or this place that that people were like, oh, okay, we've seen she's done something. We're not going to investigate. I wasn't like I sang at the Kennedy Center, blah, blah. Like it's
Right.
nothing major.
You
It's like
can't.
it's little things that or like little a student film because I don't want people to know that I have no experience. Like I know that that sounds insane, and that is just, like. But that's honestly, when I was 19 years old, that was the best advice I could get just so that my resume wasn't blank. I had to be like,
Wow.
okay, I did a couple student films, I did a couple, and I am a type of person who I learn by experience. I like to touch the fire, like I like to figure out that way. And I'm a fast learner. And that's how I knew that if I was going to fake it, that I could at least, I'm a quick study. Like, I'm like, oh, that didn't work. Or, oh, that works. Do that. So that's how I knew that if I kind of fudged my resume in the beginning,
Wow.
that I would
You'd
figure
be
out like
okay.
what exactly is upstage or downstage? I mean, my school did teach me that. I'm just kidding. My school taught me that. But what my school teaches and what my school taught me was like to get the job and to be a worker and to be a workhorse. Like it doesn't it was not enough time to sit and be like, what's my process or what kind of creator am I? I'm like, no, I'm a churner outer. Like I'm a digester and doer. That's what I like learned. Like people who have the 4-year college experience can kind of sit in and figure out who they are. I was like, well, it's going to be trial and error for me. Like, and that's just how
Wow.
it's been kind of.
Just
Yeah.
kinda going full force and just seeing
Yeah.
what happens, what sticks,
Yeah, and
what
and
works.
also, like, this I don't know where it came from, it kinda, like, waned and then, like, has come back as I've, like, grown into my new version of myself, but I did have a very bizarre sense of, like, entitlement. I did. I think that
Since
I
when?
especially
Starting when?
young.
Oh.
Very young. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was just my family being like, "You can do whatever you want." And maybe it was. And maybe it was my grandmother being like, "I just traveled to Africa. I just went to Australia. I just did this." Like and being like an example of like, "I can travel the world. I can do anything I want. I'm a boss." Like like I think it may have been that helped me,
I mean, honestly, I feel like my white male friends, that is something that they just kind of have, grow
And
up
let me
with.
tell you too, like I was a big reader and I was reading books written by white men, like growing up. And I think that I got a little bit of that entitlement from that, because I was off all over the world. Like I have traveled a lot and I've been like, yeah, what you do is you call a friend and you backpack, you do these things and like they're not things that especially at the time were like not indicative of like the black experience, but I was like, okay, like I can do whatever I want to and having like the first black president, it just like I was like,
Right.
"Oh, I'm allowed to do whatever the
I
hell I
mean,
wanna do."
even
You know?
recently with Kamala, I was like, "Wait, I think I'm 5'4", but right now I feel 5'7". I was standing
Yes.
very tall,
Yes.
even, I have my Amanda
Yes.
Gorman, headband
You
on,
look incredible. Yes.
yes, black excellence, and it's just
Yeah.
the more of it, the better. I'm like, "Let's make this not an anomaly, let's make black excellence just across the board," and one of the things that I love about you, Krystal, is, of course, I did a deep dive before talking to you today, and you were, standing for Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, everything trans lives before it was on trend, before it was like, okay, it's cool to stand up for this. You didn't just start this year or last year. That's always kind of been a part of your brand or what you feel, what you stand for. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely, because, yeah, even with hair, like we went and marched in Washington for, uh, gay marriage and equal rights
With the
then, but
show hair?
even yeah, the show, we actually all took the bus, we all drove down to Washington, and we marched and we sang "Let the Sunshine In" on the steps of the Capitol,
What?
um, and that was in 2009, but, like, even before that, my whole family's pretty much government and, not political, but have just worked, my family members have all served, in some regard, and there's been a level of, like, patriotism slash, like, we have to be the ones to pull ourselves up. My aunt actually went to Howard and was an AKA and was
Come
with,
on.
with Kamala Harris.
No.
Yeah, she passed away a couple of years ago from cancer, but we like went through, we were like, we know she went through the same time. We know she was also an AKA, like what? And then we just found the the receipts, and we're just like, man, another amazing thing about my aunt. Um
Wow.
so
That's
yes.
awesome.
So it's always been, about speaking your mind, speaking up for people. I guess like also I was raised around a lot of different personality types, a lot of different cultures, a lot of different orientations that it wasn't bizarre to me. What was bizarre was when I stepped out of my bubble and was like, oh, like for a while at my church, my black church, we had a white lesbian minister. You
Whoa,
know,
really?
we had, yes,
That's a
and
big deal in a black church.
oh, it was. And for most of us it was fine, but then they were kind of ousted. But that was the minister who actually got me connected to God and actually made me believe in God in a way that felt real and true, and a loving presence that like shaped and changed my life. And I was like, that person
Mm.
can't be bad just because they love different than how you guys say to love. Um and so it was seeing that also at a young age where I was like, people I appreciate and care about, happen to be outside of quote unquote the norm, and they're either ostracized or removed, or you know or especially when I stepped out of my bubble, I saw like the level of hate. Like I hadn't really experienced racism in Alexandria, Virginia, where it is extraordinarily diverse, until I got to Los Angeles, where it is literally, to me, the most segregated place that I've ever been.
In
um,
LA.
yeah, I mean, it's just extremely segregated. Like on the streets, it's delineated basically. And
Wow.
already it's an isolated city. And then you have like, this is where the black people live, this is where the Jewish people live, this is where the Ethiopians live, and the Koreans, and the, rich white people, rich white Jewish people. I mean, it's just very, very specific, and you can really feel the different lines. Um so even when 2016 happened and the election happened, and I was just
Ugh.
floored. I
Please.
mean, I really did crawl into a really deep depression. Like I was sad. I was crying like every single day. I just didn't believe it because I had watched this man, one, commit treason, ask Russia to spy on our
Dear God, don't even get
potentially
me
elected
started.
officials. Yeah, I watched him talk about people with different abilities and mock them. I watched him talk about women in this disgusting way. And then I was furious, because I think why people were so furious is because we're all complicit. We've all allowed this. We've all allowed these behaviors. We've all allowed this to become to the front and center.
Yeah.
And in some, I think everyone felt sick to their stomach who was like shocked, because we were like, wow, like we were complacent. We were even complacent with Obama's presidency, and we were like, okay, I can sit back and just enjoy the imagery of a black person reaching to the very top, and not really like, okay, now we got to really dig in grassroots and do all this work that we're now doing right now. So a friend of mine and I, like, we started a political feminist podcast, and we talked to people who are game changers, and to give
Yeah,
us
what
like
was that called?
how we do this.
How do
Yeah.
we do this?
Yeah, and it was just about getting potentially specifically women to come and talk about how they've achieved outside of like beyond, you know difficulties and setbacks. And we talked to producers like Effie Brown, who produced the film Dear White People. And she just, and like, these people were telling the most vulnerable areas of their stories. Like, I was broke producing that movie. I had
Whoa.
nothing, like, like just and explaining how they move forward, because I was like, we feel broken, and there's a shame in feeling broken. And we also um and we just deep dived into how we can move forward, and how we like talk to game changers to like help us get motivated. It was really as like an inspiration dose. And we did 2 seasons, and then my partner got pregnant again, and she was
Oh.
like, this is, and then I moved to Boston to do a play. So it kind of like fizzled, but we were like, every protest rally, women's march, all that stuff, we were a part of it, and excited to like highlight it and talk about it, and just be a part of uniting, and also making sure that we have to check some of this stuff, like we have allowed a lot of these things to happen. Like I think the women's movement happened when they were like, "Oh my gosh, like I've actually been a part of harassment in the workplace. I've actually like
Wow.
when you stopped and were like, "Oh, this isn't normal. It's not normal for me to be talked to like this or it's not normal for me to feel this way." So I've always had a calling to stand up for little people, the little guy, right? Like on playground I was that person who bullied the bullies, and I just think that it's,
You
you know,
bullied the bullies.
I did. I was like,
How true.
if I saw a group of people around, like huddling around like the kid who bruises easy, I was like, nope, not on my watch.
Okay, so wait, Krystal, I have a question for you. Have you ever
Yeah.
felt like, and it seems like you, it seems like there is no door that you can't go through. But I do want to know and ask, like, has have you ever felt affected by being a black woman in like has that have you ever felt held back
Oh my God.
by
Have
that?
I ever felt held back? Yeah. I mean, after playing Diana Ross, I like hit a glass ceiling, like the Hamilton had already been cast. There
Mm.
was really, the show closed in 2015 and there was really like nowhere for me to go. And, like that was like an equal playing field. I was like, I can maybe like jump in and try to do like a smaller role on a show that's already going.
Interesting.
Like you have to think about those things. Like, it's like, do I make a lateral move? Do I do a step down? Because like this industry is deciding what your next move is your achievement and nothing matters behind you, right? Like you are as good as your next job. And
Oh,
and so that started to get in my head in a very bizarre way and in a very like toxic way. And I was like, and I was also burnt out. Like I was also burnt out from Broadway. Like if you guys don't know, like Broadway is 6 days a week. It's 8 shows a week. Like
right.
you're very familiar with that schedule, that Broadway schedule. And then it's not even just that. Like that sounds hard enough, but then like it's events, it's charity things, it's press things.
The stage door.
Yeah, it's the stage door. It's the hours of like entertaining and smiling and, doting around and playing the game. It's just the whole thing is exhausting. And then also while you're in that job, you're looking for your next job. You're auditioning. You're like, you're still trying to like survive. And that's the thing about being an artist. Like you are in survival mode all the time. I said to someone in an interview recently that I was like, I think actors are kind of the best made for this situation of like shutdown because we're used to working than not working, like we're used to kind
Yeah,
of used to that in a really messed up way. Um,
right.
Give us our jobs back, please wear a mask. But like, you
Please,
know,
dear
yeah,
God.
but, yes, I've often felt like, "Oh, I'm black," or I was often and still am often like the black option, They're like, "Oh, she's not," like, especially 5 years ago or so, like, where it
Right.
was like, "Oh, we don't want that aggressively black
Right. I know what you're
person,"
talking
right?
about.
And who speaks with a standard American accent. It's like, that. So I was like, okay. And then oftentimes have gone through and been like, am I black enough? I'm not black enough. I'm this, I'm that. Like, and you look at that and you're like, what kind of black do they want? Like, you're actually thinking about these higher ups, these potentially white men of networks going, well, what kind of black is appropriate for this? And you're thinking, what should my hair be like because of this
Right.
black
What
situation?
do you
Like,
do in that
am I a black
situation?
person with braids? Am I like it's a very bizarre way because you're trying to figure out what white people think of blackness.
Ye
And then you're looking at yourself through that lens too because you're also just trying to live and work, right? You're trying to survive and you want to do what you love to do without becoming a traitor,
Right.
without like losing your identity. Like nothing is ever going to tell anybody that I'm not a black woman, you know.
Right.
And I had to remember that for myself. You know what I mean? Like, because especially during this time where we're like, well, what is black? What does that qualify? Like, who is black? And I'm like, me, I am like clearly 100% like a descendant of slavery. Like, that's, yes, whatever the characterization, like, am I less black if I don't speak with a southern accent or if I don't like, no, I am a black woman. And the thing about being black is that it is so vast and beautiful and can be all of the things.
All of
And
the
we
things.
have such a stretch of our experiences. And that's what needs to be on display is like the level of depth of like our experiences, which is finally happening, which is like there's so many shows that are coming out that are showing like what's happening. But like for especially the beginning part of my career, I had to fit into a box that was like, can I be the acceptable Black person in this role if
Mm.
it's like all white people? I was oftentimes the only Black person in a show. Um, and even my understudies were white to show you,
Interesting.
like, even for
Interesting.
Big Fish, like, for Big Fish, I played the wife of the son, and I didn't even make it onto the billboard
What?
of of the yeah, like, it
What?
was like they showed the family, but not me, and I'm like, "Oh, interesting, interesting."
Interesting.
'Cause and we were even when we were taking the photos, like, I was like, "I am not in these photos, and I'm principal. I'm a principal of this show, and I am
Huh.
not like they'd be like, okay, let's just do some with the core family, and then like, well, now you come in, and it was just the four of us at the photo shoot. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think that it lots of times I've been held back because of my race, but then also like, then maybe some people will look at my career and be like, well, she got lucky, she was chosen a few times. I'm like, the level of isolation and frustration and learning to just be like more of a worker bee on Broadway than like I'm going to be like a part of the community was the sacrifice of that,
Right.
um
Uh,
because of being alone.
so very interesting points that you've brought up. One thing I do want to touch on is that as Black women, you did mention this, we can wear our hair any kind of like we can do straight hair, we can do weaves, we can do wigs, we can do natural, we can do textures, all the things. And I love your hair is always very like sleek and sexy. And what draws you to wearing straight hair a lot of the time?
Well, I don't mean to. Okay, so I'm Black and Puerto Rican, and let
Word.
me tell you about my curls. Okay, I've been having a curl journey. First of all, I chopped my hair off. So my hair was really long when I grew up. Like it was like past the middle of my back, really
Oh,
long. And then when I of course moved to New York and I wanted to be edgy and I chopped my hair like to my chin and it just like never really grew back the same way.
your
So like
curls? Were they curls or were they straight?
it was straight. Like I was like flat
Okay,
ironing it because
got it.
especially at the time, like curls weren't people didn't understand curly hair,
Right,
right?
right, right,
They were
right.
like, what is that? And people were really looking at like Kerry Washington,
Yeah,
like what's that? That's kind of that was like our template at the time.
right.
Sanaa Lathan, like, it wasn't like curly hair like was not
Eh,
a thing for a
right,
while.
right.
You know what I mean? Now, now I just did a movie where I was like, I want to wear my curly hair. And I had auditioned with straight hair
Oh,
and I was like, "I wanna wear curly hair," and they were like, "Well, let's see it." And I showed it to them, and they were like, "Okay." And I was also filming in 90-degree weather, and I was like, "There's no way that, like, this is" you know? Um, and
right.
for me, like, I growing up, relaxed my hair, didn't really understand that, like, that wasn't it wasn't a thing. It was just like, you relax your hair, everybody relax their hair. I'm from Virginia, that's what you do.
Yeah,
And so, like,
across the nation.
my curls are like they're like I haven't relaxed my hair in years now, and my hair is finally grown. Thank you, Nutrafol. Like literally, like yeah, Nutrafol
What's
is it's a pill, but it's like it's a vitamin. And it helped my hair get thicker because stress and now my hair is like really, really thick and growing. But like just the level of stress and the level of just like damaging my hair with various things during the pandemic, my hair has grown so much because I'm not doing anything to it.
nice?
Um, but also my hair doesn't really curl much. Like my hair is very thin. Um, so it doesn't actually like I wish I had like more of a textured curl. It just doesn't really do it.
Wait,
Like,
when did you like I didn't mean to cut you off. When did
no.
you decide to stop getting a relaxer? Like, what was that?
Oh, like 3 years ago, I think it was. Yeah. Because I mean, I started to understand, well, really my whole journey with chemicals and all kinds of things, it's like a bigger, broader thing. For me at this point in my life. Like I tried to only do all natural everything, sustainable everything. And
We
when I
love.
yeah, and when the more that you know, the better you can do. So the more I started learning about what that's doing to myself and then me asking the question of like, why do I do that? I was like, I don't my hair, if I flat iron my hair, like this is just a simple flat iron.
It
If I
looks
flat iron
great,
my
by the
hair,
way.
thank you. But in the winter, I can do this. The summer, no. Like, that's it. Um, so like if I and I'm like, I need to. look at what's in this. Oh, formaldehyde, all this stuff that was just like, and what it does to your scalp. And I was like, this isn't a growing, I'm not nourishing myself by this. Like I had to do it with my foods. Like I'm vegan now. I'm completely plant-based. But I've been vegetarian since I was 10 years old. I don't
Really?
know. I made really strong decisions at a young
Very
age.
strong decisions.
Yeah, like my family was like chitlins, ham hocks, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be vegetarian," and they're like,
How
"What? So
you
you eat chicken?" And I was like, "Nope, I don't eat
you
chicken."
just decided that for yourself?
Yeah,
Have you all
yeah,
you it sounds like you've always stood in your truth. You're like, "This is who I am, and I'm gonna just do this."
yeah. I mean, kind of. I think I think everything's like genetically connected. So I think because my dad was like a 6 degree black belt, like he had a level of discipline
Work.
that like that boggles my mind. So I think that's a big part of my ability to go, no, I'm not doing that anymore. 4.5 years ago I decided to cut out alcohol completely. So that was
Vegan
another.
and no alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep, just just taking life on
Wait, wait,
life's
wait, wait. So
terms.
wait, when you're on a red carpet, when you're at an opening night party or any kind of
Yeah.
gala, how do you navigate? I'm just trying to figure out, like, how do you navigate not drinking, not eating the junk? Like, it looks good, it smells good, it's free. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot, especially there's been a lot of those moments, but it's like I love people, so I still enjoy going to a bar. Like I still enjoy that energy. But once I'm bored, I just leave. Instead of like it used to be like once I'm bored, I just keep drinking and make it fun, and now I just leave. I'm like, "Oh, let me go do something else." And I just go. And if I'm hungry, I go eat somewhere else. Like I'm like I feel like some of the especially like these events, they're obligations for work. They're not necessarily obligations for me to like get my life and joy at. And I think that was like also a problem in my career. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking that this is where I get my joy, these people, this community, like my industry. But I'm like that's not really where I get my sustenance. So if I start leaning into those like things that don't make me feel good, I'm not yeah, it just doesn't bring me that kind of same joy and satisfaction as like going and getting a really great meal with my people that I love.
Your people. You made it
Yeah,
sound so simple, Crystal. You're like, when I am bored, I just
I leave.
leave.
I
Like, I've been
because
in
I was always like the last person at a party. Like that was my thing. Like I could close
that
out
is
the bar.
me today.
Okay, like I was that girl and I love her and I am so happy I was her and I get her.
How
You know
to
what I
not
mean?
be that? Like,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
didn't think I didn't think I could ever, like, not be her. I never thought that I would, like, move to LA and be like, "I'm in a teepee, meditating with my
That's
ancestors."
amazing.
Like, I did not think I was that girl, but I'm totally a hippie who, like, I wanna sit in meditation. I want to, like, go deeper with people. Presence to me is everything. Like, I like for people to be present because 'cause I'm gonna give you 100% of my, time and attention.
Which
My
you are
phone is on
right
airplane
now.
mode. My phone is on airplane mode, okay? Like I want to give people what they deserve. Like time is so precious. It's the only thing we can't get back. So I try to be
Wow.
precious with my time and I try to be present with my time. So if you get me and you get my time, like that to me is the most precious thing you can get. And I'm not trying to I always realize like for me with like alcohol, I was always trying to like make things better, right? I wanted to make it the best night of my life. I wanted to make it the best da da da. But I didn't really know what that felt like. I don't think I really knew what true, true, true joy felt like until I was just like literally going for like a walk by myself and like
Yeah.
something hit my chest and I just cried from the beauty of life. Like didn't think that was a thing. I've heard of
Love
people
this.
saying ridiculous
I love
things like
this.
that before, but I hadn't really experienced it for myself, and I was like, "Oh, like, damn, like, I think I've been missing out on some real, 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 real good stuff by trying to constantly make things better than they actually are." But I couldn't see how great they actually were and how beautiful they actually were. So now it's like, if I go to something, if I'm somewhere, like you get my full attention. I'm like, I'm really there. And I love to dance. I love to party. People are like, "Oh my God, what are you having tonight?" And I'm like, "Girl, I'm having life." Like
Wow.
I'm dancing. I'm just
Yes.
making my own choices, whether they are good or bad. I live with them. Like I've
Mm.
still made bad choices while being sober. And I've just been like, all right, okay.
That's
Like, but
real.
it's my choice, and now I know. And
Thi
even though like the stuff is free, I bring it home for my puppy.
Wow. Okay, sidebar, this one's just for me. Like, if you're, like, on, like, a romantic date, how do you not, like, "Okay, we're gonna have a glass of red wine." I just feel like that's part of the mood, part of the like, how do you say no to that? What do you
Oh my
do?
god, yeah. Dating and alcohol. Woof. It
Yeah.
is not easy. Like, um, I've actually been lucky where I've had like especially when I stopped drinking, I was dating someone who didn't drink, who had his first
Okay.
drink at 30
Oh,
and I like just never drank really. Like it was really a special occasion. So that was really easy. But then like dating, and like I'm in a relationship with someone right now who drinks and it's just kind of like it's hard. Like it's not always easy, I try to just I as I've been vegetarian now completely plant-based for my whole life, like these are not everybody else's decision. I don't say, "Well, I eat vegan, so therefore you are a loser and an idiot." Like I'm like, "These are my personal choices that have nothing to do with you." And when they start to impact our relationship, like that's when I bring something up.
okay.
But like I I know that I've made many a man nervous by being like, "So by the way, I don't drink." And they're like,
Right.
Well, what are we gonna do?" I'm like, "Guess we're just gonna have to really connect." And then
Wow.
and then it's like, and everyone's really nervous, and it's like nerve wracking because I'm nervous too because it's not like super easy, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna just tell you, and I'm gonna be cognizant of the fact that I'm telling you things about myself, and I'm connecting with you in a real way or a not real way. Like there's no synthetic potion that will potentially move this further along before we're actually ready to. Like we're actually just gonna and y'all get what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes.
But, like, this is actually, like, if I'm choosing to like you, if we're, like, really, really connecting, then we're really, really gonna hook up, and it's really, really gonna be great, and, like, mindful sex so one of the people that came on my podcast is a woman who wrote a book called Mindful Sex. And that changed my whole thinking about sober sex, and just sex in general, like how we check out or how we use it as a coping mechanism and how we can check in and how it can be so much more pleasurable. I recommend everybody practice mindful sex because you can even have mindful casual sex. And it's
Interesting.
way better and you feel way less gross afterward.
That's literally awesome, and I love that, and I'm here for all of that. Also, I know that I'm gonna have to wrap up and get you out of here soon. I just wanna ask you a few more questions. Um, do you prefer when you're in a show to be wigged or nah?
Wigged. Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, wigged because I don't want to think about my hair. Now I just have them pull the hairline down so that it's not affecting my edges.
Oh, go on. Talk about this.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yeah, so and if it's necessary to put just a little bit of glue because what happens is when you are wrapping your hair up and wrapping those your and they're digging those pins into your edges of your hair, you're pulled like my edges after Diana Ross was tragic. Okay? Like I'm telling you, this has been a
Mm.
regrowth journey.
It
I'm
looks good,
show you
Krystal.
but like this is I'm still working on her, but like
You got those baby
but
hairs. I see you.
they're coming in. But like, so now I pin, but like we put the hairline down
Lower.
and we just, we really tack it on the sides, but like making sure that the front is protected. So yeah, I prefer to be wigged so that my hair can be wet and curly underneath and be like I will have like a deep condition and I just do multiple wig caps
Oh,
going on while I'm doing yeah, so I've changed my whole philosophy on how I wear my wigs and what's happening with my hair underneath.
okay, wait. I got a million questions. Hold on. Okay, you mentioned
Yes.
you mentioned glue. How do you
Mhm.
glue your show wig when you probably have multiple show wigs? Do you
Not in no, Eliza does not.
Oh, in Hamilton.
Yeah, in Hamilton, I have 1 wig and we have 3 different styles. It is honestly the most basic hair was pretty basic, like, we barely wore anything and that was it. But other than that, like, this show is the most basic costumes and hair
Oh,
and makeup that I've ever had. So
that's
I'm
a
just like, this
blessing.
is yeah, I was like with Motown, I had like 22 costumes,
Right.
12 wigs, it was crazy. So this, yeah, this is a walk in the park. So and I just,
Wow.
you have to come in with a level of like, so, and polite, very polite. This is what I need. This is how I like it. This is what, like, help me make this work because then I won't be a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
help me make this work. Like, I know this works for me and what I don't want is this. And then like they can hear that. You know what I mean? Like, and you even saying words like, well, this will be more sustainable for me in the long run if you can help me figure out a way to curl up my hair that won't pull my edges or blah blah blah.
So you're saying advocate for yourself and do
Yes.
it kindly, but
Always.
make
I'm
sure that you
always constantly advocating for myself and trying to do it respectfully and politely and not like, you don't know my hair, you don't get this. Like, no, they don't know your hair, they don't get it. So I have to talk to people as if they don't get it, not condescending, but like, so
is that
with my
across
hair,
the
I'm like
board?
this. Yeah,
Like, in
like
every show that you've done, or have you been in a Broadway show where you're like, "Oh, they get it." Have you felt that way?
mm,
Not the cricket.
yes. No, 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 yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Well, with Motown, I think that they got it, but I didn't get it yet. Like,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't get it.
Fair.
You know, like, I didn't know how to take care of myself to this level yet, you know? So I think that, like, I also think that as women and as actors, like, we're trying to get everyone to believe that we are agreeable and easy, especially as Black women. We're like, "Hi, I'm not an aggressive Black woman," you
Right,
know? Like,
right.
like, "Hire me, work with me, blah, blah, blah." So
It's
it's
exhausting.
yeah, there's a level of, like, playing that game, and I think that we come in and we should be strong and we should be, you know, we should be knowledgeable most of all about ourselves. What is sustainable? What can we do 8 shows a week? What is our paycheck that we can live off of that feels appropriate? Like I've had big stars, friends of mine who are like, "How much are you getting paid in Hamilton? Because I'm about to be paid this." And in another show that's a leading role, how do and being like, I'm like, "What do you need for you? Do you need massages? Do you need care? Do you need this, that, and the other?" Like, what we need to really be looking at who we are across all industries, what we need to sustain, and what we need to build a life that makes us feel the best. But that means first going within and knowing what you need, how you can like manufacture your own happiness and joy, and then telling everyone around you
Oh,
how to
wow.
keep you in
This is
balance.
so good, Crystal. Crystal, this is so, so good. I've already taken so many notes, like, while you're talking, I'm like, "Salisha, you have to give the interview. You can take notes when you're editing." Like, truly, it's so inspiring. But you also mentioned about your wig prep. Oh,
Yeah.
some conditioner? Do you do a wet wig prep? Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, sometimes I take a bath before the show. So if I take a bath before the show, then my hair might be a little bit wet. I prefer not to have my hair wet. I'll try to like shake it out as much as possible and then just wrap it up, you know, put some coconut oil, put on my wig cap, like wrap it up in pin curls. And like I do the pin curls like differently, like doing it around the two fingers and
Uh-huh.
putting it like that, which is something that actually Fred at Hamilton taught me, which gives it a little bit more space.
Yeah.
So then, you know, and then my hair will kind of come out kind of cute, even though no one's going to see it because all I do is the show when I'm doing the show.
Question
Um,
about your wig
yeah.
prep. When you're doing your wig prep, is it always with straight hair? Do you ever have natural hair in your wig
No,
prep?
natural. No, 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 natural. A lot most of the time. Most of the
Oh,
time it's yeah. Yeah,
okay.
and in fact, when I went in to get my wig fitted, like when they fit you and everything, I had my hair wet and curly and as big as possible. So I was like,
Mm,
this is what it will normally hopefully be like, you know, so that this they could really get the full texture of my hair. I didn't come in with straight hair because I didn't want them to make the wig too small so
right.
that I couldn't wear my hair natural and then I wouldn't be comfortable. And I also like to put my microphone in my wig. So I like them to make it a
Yes.
little bit bigger so that I have more space to move around. And it's like it would be different on a different show. Eliza doesn't do any like backflips. I'm not dancing. Like I
Right.
have very little risk of this thing falling off my head. So you know, but I do like to I will like deep oil my hair and he understands that. And I try to tell people in advance, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna do deep conditioning. I'm gonna have oils. Let me know if that's not okay with you. And if it's not, then that's okay, you know. And if it's not working, then I just try to open the lines of communication up as soon as possible so that there's less like
Uh,
resentment, animosity, or
right.
weirdness.
Right. Okay, so what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of your you look gorgeous in literally every photo. One photo you posted on your timeline, and I was like, "Ugh,
Uh-oh.
I love Diana Ross because I played Diana Ross in a show called Trevor, and it just moved to Off-Broadway. I'm not in that production of it, but
Wait, I think have I heard of this show? Okay,
maybe
that's a
Trevor the
sub
Musical.
subject.
It's such a great show. But like when I look at Diana Ross, I am so inspired as well. And I was
Mm.
looking at this photo on your timeline. I'm like, oh, I just love her. Looked at the caption. I'm like, oh my God, that's not Diana Ross. That's Krystal. You guys look so much alike.
Yeah, that was wild.
It
That
was
was really
so
wild.
wild. That is
Yeah.
what but what I was getting at, I'm sorry, was you have a lot of pictures on your timeline of, like, straight hair or but it's what I'm hearing is that you wear your natural hair quite a bit, and
90% of the time.
that
Yeah.
is so how do you care I know it's a loaded question. How do you care for it while you're well, even in this
Yeah,
pandemic?
I mean, well, I believe once again, supernatural stuff. Like coconut oil pretty much is my go-to for everything. Tea tree oil, vitamin E. Those are pretty much the three things I use on my hair. I use Dr. Bonner's for almost everything. I mean, it's
Dr.
like
Bonners, I don't even know what that is.
it's you're gonna look. Oh, here it is. I have it right here because I'm about to wash my
Come on.
dog.
Yeah, oh,
Um,
that!
Yeah, this thing with all the writing. Just a tiny, tiny bit. And then I also I use Davi, which is vegan, black owned company. Yeah, they actually do have a growth pill as well. And I do like a pre-wash. Um I do that. I do or co-wash, sorry, co-wash. I do like a couple times a month I just do like a deep conditioner that they have. And then I use a lot of what do I use? Yeah, Shea Moisture, you
I love
know.
Shea Moisture. That's one of my I'm, like, trying to,
Yeah,
like,
it's an
venture out.
easy go-to. Yeah, I know, it's an easy go-to.
Yeah.
But also, I just ordered a whole bunch of stuff from Tracy Ellis Ross's stuff.
Pattern.
Pattern. I'm excited about Pattern because I do wanna start wearing my hair out like, right now, when my hair is curly and I wore my hair in, one royal holiday. So, but I just can't get consistent curls, and I did add a little extra clip-ins to make it fuller and
Ooh,
thicker, and so I feel like next summer, I'm really gonna be rocking my natural curls in a bigger way. Because right
okay.
now, it just doesn't look great curly.
No.
Like, I gotta go get a good curl cut. I gotta go get,
Yeah.
good curl maintenance.
Yeah.
And once I get pattern and I can play with
Right.
my curl, because now my hair is not like none of it's relaxed anymore. Like when you're like, oh,
Yes.
that part's relaxed
Right.
and this part's curly. Now it's like all curly, but I just still
Krystal,
need to
I'm so
figure it out.
excited for you.
Thank you. It's a journey, girl.
No,
It's a journey.
it's a journey, and also, like, when you if you do decide to, like, actually, like, transition into wearing your hair like that naturally most of the time, like,
Yeah.
in public, all the things, like, it is a journey, and you gotta be patient with yourself because
Mm-hmm.
it looks different, like, it's like, "Who is this girl?" At least that's how I felt, like, "Who is this girl in the mirror?" Because I straighten my hair every other week, and when I was on tour with Beautiful before going to Broadway, always and when I cut off everything, and I'm like, "Who is this person?" Like
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because you're trying to be the person that people want you to be. And I think it's
right.
also about allowing and accepting it's deeper, like I have body hair for the first time ever in my life. And I'm like, oh, I kind of like it.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? It's accepting of oneself in this grander way. And especially after we've been realizing oh my God, we're so indoctrinated in these ideals of what is beauty and what is femininity. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, 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 no. Whatever I am is feminine. Whatever you are is feminine and beautiful. And so I'm trying to get more into the loving of my whole self, as it is, as God created it, as God intended it to be. And I'm just like, okay, well, this can't be a mistake, you know?
Yeah.
God doesn't make mistakes. And so why I'm trying to change a whole bunch of things about myself to fit some sort of sanitized version of beauty or acceptance or whatever is something that I'm going to be working on for a long time. And I think we all have to look within ourselves of being
Yeah.
what is beautiful? Who is who is beautiful, and you
Right.
are in beautiful, so you know all about the beauty of the beautiful.
Oh my goodness, that was beautiful, Krystal. I am gonna let you go. I just want to say, like, I know next month is Black History Month, and it's
Woo woo.
woo woo, like all of the things. What do you like? Are you are you hopeful?
Oh
That's
my
like
God.
for this year.
I wouldn't exist without hope. And I have to say, so Hamilton has done something extraordinary. We created the Hamilton Racial Justice Task Force, and in August, after everything happening with our society and people actually finally talking about systemic racism, and we're talking about it in our company, we're talking about it in the industry, and we're talking about it at large. We raised, $3 million for the Biden campaign. We've made hundreds of thousands of phone calls. We wrote letters. We got with a bunch of different organizations that I would probably not have had the ability to connect with in this way, like Until Freedom and MoveOn.org and Vote Writers, and then Ryan Vasquez from the show created Swing from Home. So like we got really active, and now, and this is kind of maybe shameful, but Hamilton had never celebrated Black History Month, even though Hamilton is a hip hop musical,
Oh,
like based completely on from hip hop culture, right?
right.
So this year we're doing a lot. In fact, later on today, I'm interviewing Dr. Clarence B. Jones,
Wow.
who was Martin Luther King's right-hand man. He's 90 years old as of like a week and
Wow.
a half ago. And I the opportunity to share and to uplift Black people this next month by using the Hamilton mega brand campaign is going to be so exciting. So we have so much stuff planned. We're definitely talking to Amanda to be like, hey girl, you want to like hang out with us?
Right,
um,
Amanda Gorman,
Yes,
folks,
yes, yes.
honey.
And she loves Hamilton. She's like, she's done a lot with the company already. So we're gonna be doing a lot. I'm hopeful that hearts and minds will change. But like my word for this year, which I try to have a word every year, my word for this year is accountability.
Mhm.
And that means personally, I have to be accountable for me, my actions, and what my dreams are, making them happen, and also holding other people accountable for, what they say that they want to do, or who they say that they are. So I'm excited to see Hamilton showing us all who they really are and what they believe in,
Good.
and being a part of that change. And I am hopeful that more hearts and minds will change. We got to do a lot of loving deprogramming out there.
Right.
We've got to do from the Black community ourselves as well. We have to love ourselves. We have to get out of a slave mentality as well. Like
Yeah.
we have to remember we are chosen and lovely and amazing beings. We are descendants of greatness, like not descendants of slaves. We are descendants of absolute magnificent greatness.
Yeah.
And
Kings and
we
queens.
have to deprogram people who believe in this divide. So we can only do that by loving ourselves, loving each other, and random acts of kindness. So I'm hopeful.
Amen to that. Crystal Joy Brown, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me on Black Hair in the Big Leagues. You're so
You're an
lovely.
amazing woman. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for having me and just celebrating so many of my heroes and inspirations, and you are now one of my crown jewels of human beings on planet Earth. You are so beautiful. You radiate so much light. Thank you for doing this and sharing with all your fans.
Oh,
So,
thank you. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll talk. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you
yes,
later.
yes. You guys can find me on Instagram at Crystal Joy Brown or at thekjb.com. All right. Mwah.